Did you know you can eat healthy without giving up flavor or fun? I didn't know that until I discovered Washington Red Raspberries. They're a clean, simple, and seriously delicious way to add more nutrition to your day. American grown by American farmers, picked at peak ripeness, and frozen within hours to lock in nutrients like fiber, antioxidants, and vitamin C. Washington Red Raspberries have no added sugar, just fruit, as nature intended. I love eating a handful as a snack throughout my day, and if I'm feeling fancy, I'll swirl some into yogurt or top off a salad. They're such a great summer treat. I won't gatekeep this anymore. Frozen Washington Red Raspberries are one of the best kept secrets in the freezer aisle, and make sure to look for Product of the U.S. on the bag. Want to discover new ways to use American frozen red raspberries and get more details on where you can grab a bag of these delicious berries? Go to redraz.org. That's redrazz.org. You'll find recipes, health tips, retail locations, and everything you need to make frozen Washington red raspberries a regular part of your routine.
If you're a podcast host, listen up, this one's for you. My name is Allie Jackson. I'm the host of Finding Mr. Height, a dating and relationship podcast that I've been doing for 4 years now, sharing my positive and practical approach to dating that's built on my own life experience. And I wanted to share another experience that I've had, my secret behind monetizing my show. It's called Red Circle, and I was just telling my colleague about how much I love their platform. With Red Circle, not only am I getting a seamless hosting experience, but I also love the support I receive in ad sales. It's not just typical ad sales either. It's targeted opportunities based on my show and my life. And the platform is super simple. You just set your preferences and Red Circle matches you with sponsors that align with your show. You can vet every opportunity and their platform gives you great analytics. More recently too, my Red Circle team has brought me opportunities outside of my podcast on social media to really augment the podcast partnerships, bring them full circle. I just can't recommend them enough. If you want to give it a try, go to redcircle.com to get your free trial. That's redcircle.com for a free trial.
Hi, I'm Yue Xu.
And I'm Julie Krafchick.
We're active daters turned dating insiders.
Here to dive into everything modern dating and relationships.
Welcome to Dateable. Hello, friends.
Welcome back to our on-off season. Always the awkward period.
It's an awkward stage, but it's a good stage. Growth happens in awkward stages.
One day we will come up
myself.
with a name for this. One day. I think now it just sticks to the awkward on-off season.
I'm good with that. It's a day, 'twas the night before your birthday, Julie.
I know. This is when we're recording this. We typically record like a week out. So by the time this airs, I will be the big 4 too.
You feel different?
The other day I was saying something, how I was like, oh, I got my partner's 2 years older than me. Mm-hmm. And I said something like, oh, you're turning 43 for his birthday. And he's like, no, I'm turning 44. I was 43. And I'm like, oh, right. I'm turning 42. I had it in my head that I was turning 41. So just losing a year. I'm also celebrating a shit ton of 40th birthdays.
Yes.
So I've almost forgotten, I'm not actually turning 40 also.
Yeah, there's a lot of 40th birthdays this year.
Yeah, a lot of 40th. I feel like a lot of my friends are within the 2+ years of me, up and down. So there's a lot of 40s.
In New York, I used to hang out with these girls that I thought were so much younger than me. I mean, they were 5 years younger. But then now thinking about it, they're all going to turn 40 soon because 5 years younger than 44 is getting up there.
Oh, it's kind of crazy. Yeah. I can't believe it. 42. Here we come.
What are you going to do? Any plans?
I don't have a lot of plans. I feel like I'm doing a nice dinner with my fiance. And that's really it because, I don't know, I feel like I have a lot of celebrations this year and I don't know.
Why not just tack on the birthday?
There's just so much going on this summer, between all these birthdays and then clearly wedding stuff. And my friend was like, are you planning on doing something for your birthday too? Try to do the whole calendar. And I'm like, I'm just going to let it go this year.
Yeah. No, I think that's the kind thing to do when you're 42.
Yeah. It's not a milestone.
Yeah. You 40th girls, you all get this year.
Yeah. And it's like I'm clearly doing other stuff. So yeah, I was
Yeah,
like,
like
it's
getting
okay.
married.
Yeah.
Right.
So it'll be good. It'll be good. Chill.
Good.
Bring in the new year. I don't know. I always get like kind of weird around my birthday. I don't know if
Yeah,
you
you do.
do. I always feel like it's like a reflection time for me, like more than even the new year. It's always like, am I where I want to be at this age? Like I always have that thought. As much as I like to, this is like the inner achiever in me coming out. As much as I want to get rid of that thought, it's always lurking. And I don't know. It's like good and bad. Like it's nice that it's a reflection of all the good things that have gone on, but then there's always that like feeling of like the comparison trap of like I'm always behind, you know. There's always something.
Do you think that will ever go away?
I hope so. Maybe when you're like 80 and you're just like
God, I hope I don't have to wait till 80 to feel that way.
or you're like longing for the good old days then. I don't know.
Right? I hope it's not 80. I hope it's like 46 is the magic number where you don't feel the comparison trap anymore and you feel good and content.
Do you feel that too, like around your birthday or not as much?
Only if I really want to think about it.
Yeah.
But it doesn't naturally come up.
Because I feel like the reason I ask is like some friends definitely have shared that like they go there and then others not as much. So I was just curious like how widespread, not that I'll figure that out with the sample size of 2, but you know, like just is this something that's like everyone deals with to some degree? Or are there some people that are truly like fully content of where they are?
Right. Yeah. Well, let us know. What do you all think about your birthdays? What does it bring up for you? My partner won't celebrate his birthday. He like hates it. He hates any attention on his birthday. But this is my shift for him and anybody else who's like stuck in that I don't want to celebrate my birthday. I think is an opportunity to celebrate your parents because they brought you into this world. And look at you, you're a 42-year-old grown-ass woman that they help raise. You know, like it's a day to honor them.
I guess that's an interesting it's an interesting swing that I've never really thought about before. I can see it. I mean,
like why does the birthday have to be about you? It's every other day is about you anyway. So make this day about the people who brought you to this earth.
I do know like a lot of people that just like hate birthday celebrations.
I know.
I'm definitely not one of those people. I love my birthday. It's always one of my favorites.
It's strange, right? Like why wouldn't you want to celebrate?
Yeah, I had one friend that like really did not like it. Like she would not want people to even like wish her a happy birthday.
Oh my God.
So much that I have actually forgotten her birthday because I was like conditioned for years to like not acknowledge it. Like she didn't want to acknowledge it type of thing.
See, I just feel like to me that's like the same as slapping your mom. That's just like, fuck you, mom, for bringing me into this world. That's what it feels like. It's not about you. The birthday is about honoring where you are at this point in your life and then being grateful for being alive.
I mean,
Shit.
Yeah. Without like going too deep in this, but we found out we actually had someone that was part of the Dateable fam. We had a coaching program at one point, and we had her name was Jessica, and she was one of the coaches that we worked with. And UA and I found out she passed from cancer the other day. And I mean, she was like such a sweet, kind person. So just like gone too early in the universe, but it definitely like put in perspective just like how short life is. At least for me, I was like, holy shit, like one day your life is like all going according to plan. And then like you get a diagnosis or something changes. Like it's so scary.
Yeah, she leaves behind a husband and 2 beautiful kids. And you wonder, right, if you look at her 5 years ago, 10 years ago, nobody could have predicted this. And you could very much be in the feeling of like, oh, have I done enough with my life? Have I achieved enough? Or even be in the other camp of like, I've done everything I wanted to do. I have a family, I have kids, etc. And then when your life is cut short, I'm sure you reflect in such a different way. Like a lot of things just don't matter anymore.
I remember like going to drinks with her and her husband, and he was so nice. And I remember just thinking like last night, I was like, oh my God, they only had 7 years together when they were married. But then like I was talking to my partner about it, and he's like, at least they had 7 years together. And I'm
Yeah.
like, you do have to think about it that way. It's like, I mean, it's clearly tragic and unfortunate to exit life at this age, but at least you had those memories. At least you did live and find love and had all the stuff that you wanted.
And that's all to say, celebrate your damn birthday when you can. Yeah. Why would you not? You don't know how many more birthdays you have on Earth, all of us. It's so unpredictable. So every birthday you get, take it as an opportunity to celebrate.
Yeah. Well, that just went into a different path that people are like, oh my God, this is not. But yeah,
cry in a corner now.
We'll change the mood. But yeah, it's a good takeaway of like every day is a blessing for sure. Mm-hmm. So that is what I'll do tomorrow is I will take advantage of the day. And one of my favorite activities on my birthday, one of my friends, Nikki, she's really good at finding deals. And she has found pretty much every single place in San Francisco that will give you something free on your birthday.
Oh, damn.
And she's passed along the list. And last year, I remember I went to one street in Presidio Heights and I knocked off Starbucks, which is nationwide, clearly, Sephora. They give you something free on your birthday. Susie Cakes, which is local to SF. That's like a bakery. And oh my God, what was the other one? There was a fourth one, but I did them all in like, they were all like next to each other. And I just like hit the whole street up.
Better start with an S. Apparently all the stores that start with S will give you free shit.
There's this place, Pacific Catch, that gives you like a poke bowl.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Without a purchase?
Yeah. I'm going there for lunch tomorrow.
Oh, fuck yeah. Yeah. Multiple times.
And
all 3 meals.
The Susie Cake, well, like if you want. They're like, you already had your birthday treat.
No. I haven't.
I recognize you. You were here an hour ago. So Susie Cakes, their cake is so good. I like wish I could get my wedding cake from there because it's like my favorite. It's so delicious.
Aren't they? They're mostly cupcakes, right?
They have cakes too. They do wedding cakes. They just aren't local to like where I'm getting married.
Oh, I see.
And they give you this piece of cake for your birthday that is gigantic. Like it is
seriously
huge. It's like literally like half a cake. And it's like the birthday slice. But last year I ate like majority of it and I felt ill after because it was just too much.
Wait, so instead of giving you just a cupcake, they give you like actual cake.
So that you can, they told me the other day that you can, because I might have stopped in for a mini cupcake revealing. They were like, you can do 2 cupcakes or the piece of cake.
Oh,
if you don't want to do the
2
cake.
cupcakes.
Yeah, and they let you choose like any of the cakes.
That's so generous.
It's crazy.
I need to go there. I need to fly up to SF on my birthday just for
Let's do
cupcakes.
A birthday party at SF next year. You actually technically have like a month to use it. So you don't have to come like on the day. But you have to like sign up for their rewards card.
Nikki needs to sell this list. People would definitely buy it. Make it a scavenger hunt on your birthday.
McDonald's does something. I was like, I'm good. I don't need
to. What does McDonald's give you?
They give you like free fries or something.
No thanks. Nope. Nope. Only high value stuff. Yes. Cake, Sephora, yes. But fries, no. That's bottom of the totem pole.
So my fiance used to live next to a McDonald's or like near one, like the only one in San Francisco, and it's not the best area.
It's gnarly.
It is. And he sometimes like we weren't together and I would always know he went for like a guilty meal because I'd be like, what'd you get for dinner? And he's like, I don't want to tell you. It was always McDonald's. So like my friend Nikki would like text him when there was like some free deal or something. And he's like, I don't need to be going more. And then when he moved away from McDonald's, he's like, I definitely don't need to be going now.
But shout out to Nikki. Come on. This is a skill that she has. Like, if you're talking about a calling, I think this is her calling. Yeah. If she were listening to this episode, which she won't, but if she were, I would say, Nikki, get on this. You could be the deal hunter. Just go out there, search for deals, sell the list, sell the intel. People will love it.
If I titled this Birthday Free Deals, she'd be listening.
Yeah. Listen till the end for a free gift.
So another one actually that's a good tie-in to our stuff too. Books Inc., where we did some signings, they give you $10 off a $30 book for
that's
your
pretty
birthday.
good.
So I will also be getting myself a book on my birthday.
So our book is $28. You just need to get like a keychain, and then you get hit the $30, and then you get the book for $20 and a keychain. Such a good deal.
I love our book, but I'm gonna get a different book because I have like 1,000
I'm telling
copies. Yes,
I'm telling other people,
yes.
not you. Oh
I
my
have
God.
so many copies of our book. Can you imagine if I went in? I'm just like, I'm here. And they're like, oh, your last name is this. And I'm like, yeah, I had to get my own book again.
Yeah, but I didn't want to pay full price.
Yeah.
Give me my $10 off.
Yeah, I have a few books I'm thinking about. So
Okay.
we'll see what I pick up. I'm still like debating the Mel Robbins one. So I know
Oh, no.
everyone like loves it.
No
You're
need.
saying no?
Yeah, just you already know it's about.
That's true.
Sorry, that's so mean. That's so mean, but it's true. It's like anybody who's read the book, you ask them to summarize it. They're like, just
Let 'em.
let people be who they are. Just let them. You're like, anything else?
I also feel like there's a little backlash of that book happening, so I'm not sure. I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll see. We'll see.
No, I think you can just do ask ChatGPT to summarize the book. I think it's fine.
I mean, that's a different experience. Clearly, I don't know. I personally love reading, and I feel like there would be an experience reading the book that I can not get from just summarizing. So,
Right, yeah. But do you really want to read a self-help book, or do you want to read something like
oh, I love
like a
self-help books.
fiction, like a fiction
I'm
book?
not a big fiction book
No,
reader.
okay.
Yeah, I'm definitely a nonfiction reader all the way.
Hmm.
So I will be getting nonfiction regardless what the subject matter is and what it is, TBD.
Did you finish The Anxious Generation?
Nope, I haven't even started.
Okay, but you're going to get another book
That
anyway.
was an impulse buy when I feel like I had a lot of impulse book buys because we've been in a lot of bookstores.
Yeah.
And also there was like Dear Writer I bought, and I've only made that a little bit. But I've read our book 1,000 times.
There you go.
Anyways, I'm excited to bring this bonus episode where we talk about our book with Talia Koren, who is the host of Dating Intentionally.
Mhm.
We also got to meet her live for one of the book events that we did at the Battery in San Francisco. So that was a real treat. I thought that part of the book process was super fun, meeting people that we've met in the podcast world in person. So we are excited to bring this episode because, I think it's always interesting to me to hear what parts people really hone in on. And I think Talia really took away that, like, F the rules. I mean, like we've been saying this, but that was her main takeaway too, of like the rules are just like getting us nowhere. And even if we think we're not following rules, anytime we ask like, when should I text or should I wait? All that is like all rules-based propaganda that's been given to us for years. And I think the concept of relationship chicken also was something that Talia really honed in on and loved that term because it is really the opposite of following the rules. It's what happens when you follow the rules. You play relationship chicken, and like, how do we break free from that and start putting ourselves out there and not just doing it in a way that we feel like we're kind of going through the motions, but like actually date in a way that's vulnerable.
She is so aligned with our book because I think what makes Talia so unique is that in the way when she was dating, she's not married, but when she was dating, she questioned everything. She was like, why? Why are people acting this way? Or why would I even do that? Or why do people think that is the normal way to do things? And she did it her way. She truly dated her way. And that's the message we want to empower everyone with is you get to date your way, find love your way, and live a love life in the way that you want it to. Who cares what other people are doing? It's not about subscribing to other people's love plans. So I think she was really into that message because she's like, yeah, that's how I found my husband.
Definitely. Okay, well, we will get into it all with Talia. It's such a great episode. If you haven't gotten the book yet, this is your reminder to go out and get it. Hopefully this episode will also leave you inspired if you've been debating. And If you have read the book, please leave us a review. It makes our day to see that feedback and to see like the people that are actually taking notes and taking it all in. We love seeing the reviews on Amazon and Goodreads. Should we read one?
Here's one from Amazon. Julie and Yue have had a tremendous impact on my dating life through their podcast, community, and book. Their insights taught me how to show up authentically on dates and build deeper connections. Thanks to their guidance, I eventually found my long-term partner. I highly recommend their book to anyone who is new to dating or re-entering the scene and looking for a meaningful, lasting relationship.
Amazing. Oh, I
So
love
good.
it. Well, thank you again for everyone that has supported this whole journey. It honestly means so much to the two of us, and we would not be here without you all. So thank you again. And before we get into it with Talia, let's take a minute to hear from our sponsors. Have you heard the stat that we're eating a credit card worth of plastic a week? That's why I made the switch to Blue Land across all cleaning products around my house. Blue Land's products meet the highest standard of clean. They're effective yet gentle on my family and planet. Blue Land was also named an EPA Safer Choice Partner of the Year. From cleaning sprays and toilet bowl cleaners to dishwasher and laundry detergent tablets, Blue Land's formulas are 100% microplastic free, made with certified clean ingredients, free from chlorine, bleach, and harsh chemicals that are safe to use around my family. I love not having to choose between the safe option and what actually gets the house clean. And that is why Blue Land is trusted in over 1 million homes, including mine. Obsessed with the laundry tablets because they make laundry a breeze and lift even the toughest stains. Blue Land has a special offer for listeners. Right now, get 15% off your first order by going to blueland.com/dateable. You won't want to miss this. blueland.com/dateable for 15% off. With summer in full swing, it's time for a closet refresh, but I'm trying not to waste money on pieces I'll only wear for just one season. That's where Quince comes in. Their clothes are timeless, feel luxurious, look elevated, and the quality is way beyond what you'd expect for the price. Think 100% European linen tops starting at $30, washable silk dresses and skirts, and soft cotton sweaters. And the best part, everything with Quince is half the cost of similar brands because Quince works directly with top artisans and cuts out the middleman. I've been on a bit of a shopping spree with Quince lately. I got some wide-leg jeans that are perfect for evenings that will take me well into fall, and European linen pants that are so lightweight and perfect for that summer warm weather. So give your summer closet an upgrade with Quince. Go to quince.com/dateable for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. That's QUINCE.com/dateable to get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/dateable. Okay, let's get into this episode.
Today, you're going to hear a conversation with my first ever repeat guests, Julie Krapchick and Yue Shu from DATEABLE Podcast. If you want to catch our first convo, it's episode 78, and it was so enlightening. And in this conversation, you're going to hear all about Julie and Yue's new book, How to Be Dateable, which is out today. Like today, the day the podcast airs, is the release date, so go get your copy. It's linked in the show notes. We did a deep dive into their chapter about one of my favorite concepts, and I love the term they coined for it. You're going to hear a lot about it in the episode. And at the end, Julie shares some big personal news with us, which is very exciting. If you're not familiar with Julie, Yue, or their show DATEABLE, just know they've been talking about dating on their podcast for years and have truly seen it all. They've been through it all themselves too, and their advice is gold. As always, I love hearing from you, so if you have comments, if you enjoyed this episode, you can share your thoughts in the comments on Spotify below or DM me on Instagram at dating.intentionally. I love when you get in touch and share your feedback, and my inbox is open to you. All right, let's get into it. Welcome back to the podcast, Julie and Yue of DATEABLE. You guys are my first returning guests.
Oh,
Woo!
Yeah.
We feel so honored.
Wow.
Well, I feel honored to be talking about your new book, DATEABLE. I'm showing it up on YouTube. If you're on YouTube, you can watch. You can see me holding it up. I mean, guys, this is amazing.
Oh, they came
Thank
out
you
today.
so much.
Finally.
Okay. So I want to jump right in here. But before we do, I have a question I ask all my guests, and that is, what are you being intentional about right now?
Oh,
I love that.
That's a very good question. I'm being intentional about getting enough sleep. I have gone down the rabbit hole of how important sleep is, and we all are different in how many hours is required for healthy sleep. So I know that my requirement is 8 hours a night. That is minimum for someone like me. So
What's your bedtime?
according to my Aura ring, it's between 10:15 to 11:15. That's my optimal time. So I try to get in bed by 10:30 and fall asleep by 10:45.
Okay.
Nice. I wish I could stay up that late.
Really? That's late?
I'm like a small child. I want to be asleep at like 8 o'clock if it were up to me.
I'm jealous. I'm such a night owl. I can't like sleep past I feel like 11 is early for me. I'm so
Really?
jealous.
Look at you guys, night owls. Julie, what about you? What are you being intentional about?
I'll be intentional about not texting UA after 11. No, I'm just kidding.
It's fine. I'm just not texting you back.
You're like, on
Do not
sleep
disturb.
mode. I was going to say self-care, which is a little, sleep falls into that, but just in general, I think, it's been a busy time for us, and just taking a step back a little and also acknowledging work. I think it's easy. Self-care, I think, can mean multiple different things, like taking care of your health and fitness and all of that, getting enough sleep, but also self-care of pumping yourself up too, and not always looking for what's next. Because I think I can go down that path.
I think a lot of us can relate to that, especially if you're a type A, ambitious person, or just if you like achieving anything in life, it's hard to kind of take a break when you've hit a milestone. Be like, okay, you don't have to jump to the next thing. You can just bask in the glory of your book.
Yes.
I'm so excited about it. Okay, so I have so many questions about the book. My number one question, though, is what do you hope readers will get out of it?
We've actually talked about this in length before even starting the book. And we said the feeling we would love for everyone to take away is this feeling of hope. Because we know modern dating is fucked up and there's a lot of things that can go wrong and there's a lot of disappointment. But it's also such a beautiful journey we can go on. And it's such a privilege that we get to use. So after reading the book, at least from our editor's point of view, she said it felt like a hug. So I think that's a great way to encapsulate the feeling we want people to have.
I love that. And as someone who did finish the book, I agree. It does feel like a hug at the end. It does kind of really set readers up for success. And you've just done a really good job with that.
I think the other piece too is this feeling that everyone is dateable. I don't think the idea is, the name is How to Be Dateable, so maybe it's a misnomer a little, but it's everyone's already dateable. It's just modern dating that's getting in our way a lot of times. And, with self-help, we feel there's not this feeling you should change who you are or do be a different person. It's maybe just getting out of your own way and leaning into your strengths, not changing who you are.
So well put. And I agree. It's we're all dateable at our core, but there is a lot of BS that we have to put up with within ourselves and other people in the dating process. And it's your book is a really good roadmap of how to navigate through that. It's literally, there's a maze on the cover.
Literally.
It's the way out of the modern dating madness.
Can you talk a little bit more about what being dateable means to you guys?
Yeah, and it kind of goes back to where we're saying everyone is dateable, but it's removing the roadblocks and what is getting in your way to recognize you're dateable. And being dateable could mean many different things for different people, but at the core of the definition is really about being vulnerable and being authentic and being open to taking risks in putting yourself out there and getting to know people and deepening connections at the same time, growing and expanding who you are.
So beautiful. Julie, anything to add?
I think we're just at this tipping point with dating, and I'm thinking about clearly you're on the same page with dating intentionally, right? It's all about how do I show up as my authentic self? How do I lead with my intentions and my needs and all of that? And I think that's a huge shift from where dating has been in the past. It's all about how do I look hot and how do I look this way and act this way? And I think for me, what dateable means is reconnecting to the core core of who you are and being like, I am a catch and I'm lucky to, someone is lucky to be with me, and having that confidence and leading that way and inviting people that are at your level that see you for who you are, that you don't have to convince that you're dateable and someone they should be with. That to me is what dateable is.
Yeah. And I think what I'm hearing from you guys, it's not just about being dateable, it's also feeling dateable.
Yes. State of mind.
The state of mind. And your book definitely dives very deep into a lot of these areas. And I'm excited to get more into it. But I do want to know more thing. And that is, what is something that surprised you in the process of writing the book that you did not expect about the book writing process or like the content or anything?
Oh, about the book writing process itself. I didn't expect it to take so long. But at the same time, the time went by so fast. I mean, our pub date got pushed back, and that happens to a lot of authors. And at the time, we were like, oh, it's going to take forever. Like it's another 6 months out. And now that the book is out, it feels like it came way faster than we anticipated.
Yeah. Wow. Okay.
And it was supposed to come out originally in the fall. And the reason it got pushed back was the election. And looking back in that hindsight, it's like, oh my God, it's such a better time now in the new year. And, it's just totally right energy.
I can see how that is kind of throws a wrench in publishing or really anything like having an election. Yeah, it's a little dicey. Wow. Well, I am so proud of you guys. And, right now, anyone listening, please go order the book on Amazon or is it on your website?
Yeah. howtobedateable.com. It links out to all of them so people can find it wherever they get books.
Amazing. So one section that really jumped out at me was the section where you talk about relationship chicken. So what is relationship chicken?
Our favorite term.
Have you ever played the game of chicken? Do people still play that game? Yeah. You try to get as close as possible to your opponent without actually hitting them. I mean, that's the concept behind relationship chicken is in dating, we do everything opposite of what we do to get into a relationship. We try to not show our cards, not be the first one to reveal our emotions and feelings for someone. And then we try to one down each other, meaning like if someone exhibits bad dating behavior, we feel like that is that compels us to go one level lower. So if someone doesn't text you back for 24 hours, you may be compelled to say, oh, I'll wait 2 days or I'll wait 3 days to text them back. And it's like, okay, if the goal is to get into a relationship for most people who are dating, then why are we exhibiting these behaviors that are actually opposite of what you want in a partnership?
Yeah, this really resonated with me because I do see this a lot with people I talk to all the time. And it's just kind of like, what are we doing here? Why are we so afraid? So can you talk a little bit more about what is the impact that relationship chicken is having on modern relationships and why is it so common?
I mean, I think the impact is that we're at a standstill because in the past, relationship chicken was never like a good thing in general, but there were more defined gender roles. There were more, I don't know, this is how dating works, like more definition. And I think it's a beautiful thing that we're going to a world that you can pave your own way, but that's uncharted territory for many of us. And especially in today's gender dynamics, I'll speak on hetero terms. For anyone that's not in this, like you're lucky, I would say, in this part of things. But the fact that just right now, like no one knows how to act and what to do. And by playing chicken, where both people are just like, I don't want to make the first move, or I don't want to be the one to define the relationship and tell them where I'm at, then just nothing happens. And I think that's why dating is so hard for people, that it feels like there's no movement a lot of times.
It kind of reminds me of like when you are applying for a job, it's like the rule that you're not supposed to say what salary you want or like whoever, it's like whoever says the first number is the one who like loses the power basically. But like dating doesn't have to be like that. It's not the same.
I mean, it's all around disconnection. I think that's the part. When Yue and I were thinking about like, okay, we've been doing this podcast for 10 years. We've talked to thousands of daters and experts. What have we like taken away? And what we noticed were like the people that were actually having like the best results in dating. And even for the two of us, when we started to change our ways and forge that own path, and really break free of these games and ways of doing dating and feeling like we have to date a certain way because that's what you do and that's how you act, and all these like unspoken rules, or maybe even spoken rules in some cases. That's when things started to happen. And like all this is doing is keeping us stuck when we're abiding by, the way it should be.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's interesting, like you say the word game, and it's like, I think sometimes if you're playing relationship chicken, you might not know you are because it doesn't necessarily feel like a game because you're like, well, I'm stepping back. I want to see how they act. I want to see what they do. I want to see if they ask for my number and like they show interest in me. But then by doing that, you are not showing interest. You are silent.
I think a lot of people will be like, I don't play games anymore. That's the old school way of dating. But if you are waiting for a text, not telling someone how you feel, you're playing a game.
Yeah. This is the conundrum that we face. People feel like they want to have control in dating. So therefore, they play these games because they think it puts them in the driver's seat. When in reality, you're actually relinquishing that control to the person you're playing games with. One prime example, had a girlfriend who went on 3 really hot and heavy dates with someone, met his friends, met some of his family, and then he went cold. He went cold for a week. The week before they had met up, he wanted to hang out that following weekend. So that whole week, she kept thinking, I'm just going to make all the plans this weekend. So when he does come back to me, I'm going to be the one in control and say no, because I already made other plans. In the back of my head, I was like, you just ruined your weekend because now you're waiting for him to text you. You're resenting the people you're going to hang out with this weekend because you wish you were hanging out with him.
And so looking at your phone the whole time.
Exactly. So who is in control? You actually put the control back in his hands and he didn't even know it.
Wow, that is such a great example to illustrate what this is. Like, it truly is just about control. And I feel like, you mentioned driver's seat. And maybe I like to think of dating as collaborative. It's like less of a driver passenger, more of like a canoe situation or like a kayak.
I like that.
Like a tandem bike. Like you both have to be working together if you want to go anywhere. Versus, like figuring out who's in the driver's seat. It's like, meanwhile, no one's even getting in the car.
I agree. I mean,
right.
I think like there's a difference of being in the driver's seat of your own love life and like taking control of like my actions, or it's not even expecting necessarily someone to do it the exact way you want to, but it's saying like by taking control, it's like, I know I want a partner that does this, or I feel this way. And if someone doesn't measure up, then you are like, okay, I can move on. I can keep finding the right person. But that's different than saying like, I'm in the driver's seat of this relationship and it's a one-way street. I like the canoe analogy a lot better for that piece.
I had someone reach out to me last week and they were like, well, I initiated wanting to hang out, but then he made all the plans. Is this a bad sign? I'm like, no, this is exactly what you want. This is collaborative. You're saying you want to hang out. He's yes-anding you and making plans. That's sexy.
That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, because if someone didn't, we'd probably be complaining about that. Like this person doesn't take initiative or make plans. And also the root of a question like that, this is something that we try to get people out of their heads about, is like, if you have to ask someone who's not in this exchange about whether this is a good exchange or not, you might as well go to the source. Like if you could be vulnerable and be like, I've never had someone make plans like this before. Do you normally do this? And I like it, but I was also taken aback. That lessens the situation from is this good or bad? There's no qualifier. It's just information.
I love that advice, Yue. Like, I love just the idea of like, if your instinct is to go message you guys or me or any other, any other dating podcaster, maybe type out the message and then rework it to send it to them. Be like, hey, like, I'm confused about this, or I'm just curious about this.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think that is a form of relationship chicken in itself because you're not relating to the other person and being
you're bringing in
and asking. Like we have, this happens all the time. People are like, I'm going to consult my text, like group text. And it's like the people there don't know this person and how they are thinking.
Yeah, no. I mean, I could go off on a whole thing about how I don't think friends give good dating advice.
No.
But
You're right.
Well, okay,
They don't.
so I'd love to hear like what is your advice for shifting away from relationship chicken? Like how can we get out of this pattern, and how can we also catch ourselves doing it in the first place?
Well, it's a question of distance. Every time you make a move, do you feel farther away from this person or do you feel closer? If you are creating distance, you are for sure playing relationship chicken. So take every opportunity as a way to close that distance. And if they don't step in and they don't also try to close the distance, then you have your information. But what will help people to get out of this game of relationship chicken is to understand why they're dating in the first place, which is why we have this exercise called your dating North Star, which gives you clarity on why you're even doing this in the first place. And you talk about this a lot on your podcast, Talia. It's like we have to get clear on what our intentions are. What is our purpose here in dating? It's not just to go on dates. Like there is an ultimate bigger purpose. And once you are clear on that North Star, then all your actions will align towards that.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I think the other piece too, it's like we actually have these illustrations in our book that it's like a relationship jar and a non-relationship jar.
Yeah.
And thinking about like when you're taking an action, is this actually bringing you closer? Like what Yue was saying, but like it could be like, I'm waiting for the text. Is that actually helping you connect with this person? No, you're sitting in your like getting wrapped up in whatever thoughts that could be so far from reality instead of just sending the text. Like if you were in a healthy reciprocal relationship, you wouldn't think about like, oh, should I wait 20 minutes to text them back? You would just text them. So I think like any action, like anything that feels like me versus you. So if you can like feel that coming in, like I think we think of dates like, I need to like, and again, this is all like not conscious a lot of times. You're not like, I need to win, but there is like a power control of not being the one to do things first. Like I remember when I was dating, I had this great date. I was really into this guy and I was like telling my friend about it. And he was married. He was not dating. And he's like, oh, awesome. So you sent him a text to tell him how good a time you had? And I was like, I would never do that. Like you clearly have no idea what you're talking about. He just looked at me in like disbelief because it's like, wait, you said you had a great time with this person, but you don't want to text them to tell them that. And to me back then, when I was like caught in a lot of dating dynamics, it was like, well, I don't want them to think I'm like too available. I don't want them to think I'm desperate. Like those thoughts that went on. And to be honest, this actually fizzled out. And part of it probably was that he sensed there was a wall up.
Mm-hmm. I really do not understand the fear of like, of the idea of looking desperate. It's like you are dating for a reason. Right. You have to apply. Like it's not like no one's gonna look desperate for applying to a job. Like you know, what I mean? It's like if you want to work, you have to do that. Like you have to show up.
This is what makes you so different, though. You know, after we talked to you, I think Julie and I were like, she just dates differently.
You're in that group.
You are, like you don't even know. You don't even know it. But I think your thought is like, this is what I want. And I'm going to go after it. And if someone doesn't give me what I want, then who cares? Like, move on. Yeah. Who cares how I'm
nailed it. That's exactly how I dated.
Like, that's how we should date. Yeah. I mean, in the first place, like, we don't like to say should in any other context, but that is the one part of dating is that we should date in a way that serves us. We are at the forefront of our love lives because the only consistent person in your life forever and ever and ever, guess what, is you. And that's it.
For me, that was the shift. Like when I switched into that mode, that's when I met my partner. That's when I met people that, you know, were like, I got rejected more times than ever before in my life before I met my current partner. And that was because I was putting myself out there freely and being vulnerable. I think in the past, when I was like afraid to text someone to tell them I had a good time, it was a way to have a shield up and to protect myself because I could also be like, well, they didn't know I really liked them or I didn't put my all into it if you did get rejected.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. I think like my check for getting out of relationship chicken mode and into kind of just more aligned like North Star dating mode is thinking about what you want to do, like what is your instinct telling you, and then checking that it's like, okay, like you said, does that get me closer to what I want or not? Does that actually, is it just to protect me from being the desperate loser who wants love? or is it actually, or is it going to get me closer to what I want?
I also think it's like thinking about things in a partner mentality. Like we're in dating, it's me versus you. You're always like, oh, and I get it to some degree, right? This is a stranger. You don't have the trust yet. I used to go to dates and I would never put the person's name in my phone because I was like, well, I'm probably never going to see them again. That is a terrible way to go into dates, yet a lot of people do. Why would you ever like that energy that you're bringing in is basically saying like, I don't see you as someone I'm ever going to see again.
Yeah.
Instead of when I started to put that person in my phone, their name, I went in, I'm like, I'm meeting Kevin. And that was a huge shift because I'm like, oh, this is like someone that's going to be in my life, a friend, if nothing even romantic. It still is like a person, a human at the end of the day. We've just dehumanized dating so much.
Yeah.
And go in with that partner mentality, even if it's for an hour. If your partner for an hour on that date, that's a different mode than if you're in this me versus you.
I love that advice. And, I think this does relate to another topic you cover in your book, which I'm so glad you talk about, which is what vulnerability is and what it isn't. Because when you are out of relationship chicken mode, you have to be a little vulnerable. You do have to be okay with that. So can you talk a little bit about what vulnerability is and how it differs from what we think it is?
And also, side note, because I know she would never toot her own horn, but all the illustrations are by Julie in the book. Like,
no,
it's not from our publisher. It's not like some magical artist we have on the team. It's all by Julie. So the book is worth getting just for the illustrations alone. Okay,
thank you for tooting my horn. Anyway.
So Julie, like you drew this?
Yeah, like digitally, but yes,
digitally. Yeah. That's so cool. Amazing.
Yeah. So back to vulnerability.
Oh my God, I'm getting vulnerable.
Vulnerable. The V card, right? And we think vulnerability can be a gamut of things, but a lot of times we think vulnerability is about revealing the weaknesses in ourselves and revealing the traumas that we've had in the past. Vulnerability really just means tapping into your authentic self and revealing that to the person you're with. Vulnerability is a relational skill. Vulnerability is not a one-sided conversation where you're trauma dumping everything that's happened to you. It is about how do you relate to this person you're with through revealing who you are. So an example is trauma dumping is, I had this happen to me when I was 5 years old, and then this caused me to really hate men and I felt abandoned, and now here we are, right?
Right.
That's trauma dumping because it has no relationship to the person you're with. But relating to that person in a vulnerable way is to say, I'm feeling a little anxious right now. I was excited to see you, but I do get anxious on dates, especially when I'm excited to see someone because of what's happened, because of this pivotal moment in my life. That you revealed a piece of your story, but it's in relationship to that person.
I love this example because it does illustrate how vulnerability is also kind of more about the present. Like how I am feeling right now. I mean, yes, like obviously eventually, you may want to share things that happened in your past that are really significant down the line in a relationship. And that could be another form of vulnerability of how it affects how you show up in a relationship. But when you're dating, it's a little less relevant.
Yeah.
And I don't know why we feel the need. Like I do hear from a lot of people who are like, when do I tell them I have OCD? When do I tell them that I had an abusive relationship with my parents or like something like that? Like, and it's like, okay, this doesn't define you. There is a time and place where you will share this information, but first you need to gain trust. And how you do that is through this form of vulnerability, which you guys are talking about.
Yeah. I mean, vulnerability is such a buzzword, and I think everyone wants to be vulnerable. And like what we hear from people, they're like, emotionally available is the number one quality and someone that is vulnerable. And that's great. But I almost feel like we like put too much pressure on like what vulnerability needs to be, like this big thing. And being vulnerable, like you said, it could just be like, I'm nerve-sighted. I feel nervous and excited. You don't even have to go into like why you do, just saying that, just showing up for the date, like putting yourself out there. Sending the
Yeah.
text, I think, is vulnerable. Instead of playing relationship chicken, trying to put the shield up, telling someone you like them is vulnerable. Like all these little actions that eventually bring you closer when there is, yes, a risk. I think anytime there's a risk and you could be rejected or you could be let down, you're being vulnerable.
Yeah, I guess even by saying I'm nervous or excited on a date, someone could potentially laugh at you for that, I guess. Like you are opening, that is a risk, right? They probably won't. They probably would just say, I feel the same.
But if they do, you have information.
Let them, yeah.
Right, let them, right. So what if someone, let's just say listeners, if you're going on a date this week, like what's a way they can implement this?
We like this thought of making your inner dialogue your outer dialogue. You may be getting to the date feeling a little nervous or feeling a little uneasy about something or feeling really excited and happy to be there. If you have that dialogue going on internally, try to recite some of it to the person you're with out loud. Just try one of the sentences that's going on in your head. Like maybe just try when you sit down to meet your date, what's the first thought that pops into your mind that you wouldn't mind telling your date? And then just say it. Like it could just be like, I was really looking forward to meeting you. And, I'm really happy to be here.
Right.
That could be it.
Not like, I think I'm having gastric distress.
No. Still have a filter. You don't have to put every thought out there.
But if you do and the other person's like, me too, then you found your soulmate.
That's a really good point, because on my first date with my now husband, we were getting boba and our number was 69. And I made a joke. And that is kind of revealing of my sense of humor and kind of just my silly side. And maybe in another version of myself as a dater, I might not have wanted to make that joke or I've been a little more guarded, but that he actually thought was really funny and endearing. So, it worked in my favor, I guess, in that moment.
I think the key, though, to what you just said is that it felt authentic and you weren't holding back. I think if you're like, oh my God, what is something witty I can reveal about myself? And it starts to get contrived.
Right.
And that's not vulnerable. That's like a fake vulnerability. But with your thing, you're like, it would actually feel unnatural maybe to not say it because you were suppressing that part. So you were actually being vulnerable, taking a risk. And you're like, this might not land, but this is my sense of humor. And I'm putting it out there.
Right. Yeah.
I want to dive into this even more, but before we do, let's take a quick break to hear from our partners.
Ever feel like your WordPress site is moving in slow motion? Switch to Kinsta's managed hosting for WordPress and watch it fly. Host your site on Google Cloud's fastest servers with worldwide data centers so your pages load instantly. Need help? WordPress experts respond in under 2 minutes and will migrate to your site for free. Try it yourself. First month free at Kinsta.com. That's Kinsta.com. Kinsta, simply better hosting.
What's something we could do before a date to help us kind of be in this vulnerability mindset?
We have an energy check.
Ooh, okay.
Instead of a fit check, do an energy check. Are you in the mind space where you feel like you can bring your best self? Do you feel energized? Do you feel like you are looking forward to meeting someone new? And at the end of it all, when you can answer those questions, if you say no to most of those questions, it may be worth canceling the date, honestly. Because we've all been on dates when someone shows up with negative energy or stress energy or energy that's just not conducive to a conversation. Wouldn't you rather they just didn't show up at all? So I think it's okay for us to check in and say, I'm probably not in the best place to be on a date right now. And I'll be honest with the person I'm going on a date with and have to reschedule.
Honestly, I mean, that's a hard conversation to have with yourself. And it is tough to cancel a date before. I mean, I've done that. I definitely have done that before.
You can see if you can shift your own energy. I think if you're coming off of work and it's stressful, have a buffer time that you're not just someone immediately and listen to music or do something to decompress, because I think that alone can change up your energy. I think the reason why we feel so strongly about this, we have a whole chapter devoted to showing up in our book, and we think of showing up as what am I wearing? Where am I going? And all this like more surface level. And we're not saying like show up to dates looking like a slob. We're not saying that, but like more important than what you're wearing is the vibe you're putting out there. That's what's going to attract someone to you. And are you showing up, in your best light? That's like step one. And then step two of like, can I reveal myself and be comfortable and be authentic and open and vulnerable and put it out there and not hold back? That's how you're actually going to find the right person. And if someone's not vibing with that, like, I would so much rather find that out than like have this date persona. I think for years I had a date persona and my friends didn't understand. They were like, you're so social. You've no problem making friends. Like, why aren't dates moving forward? And I look back and I'm like, because I wasn't actually like the person I was with my friends.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you do talk about that in your book as well, just like the date version of you and kind of breaking through that. And it is hard. I think it does take practice. I think if you're new to dating, it's okay if you have a date version of yourself, because dating is really hard. And it like, if that's what, like, I think if you're brand new to dating, like some of this advice is like farther down the line in your journey, because you do need to just like go on a date sometimes and not worry so much about like how you're showing up and just like show up on the, like physically to the date.
I actually feel like though, if you don't have a lot of dating experience, that could actually help you.
Yeah,
sometimes the more you've dated, you get in your head of like how it should be or how you should act.
Right.
I feel like I want you to tell the story about Andrew.
Oh, Andrew. I wonder what Andrew's up to these days.
Well, who's Andrew?
Andrew is a guy that we did this experiment on our podcast years ago that was like a blind date. And Andrew was my blind date. And I showed up to this date super prepared. I was like, you're pro dater. You know, if there was a PhD in dating, I thought I was it, doctor dating. And I came in, I always go into dates with a story about what happened to me that day because it made me so interesting. And I sat down, I came in with this like all this energy. And he, you know, he's like entertained and he's laughing along. And in the middle of the date, he stopped me. He's like, all right, so when is the real UA going to show up to this date? And I was like, oh, shit, I just got called out. And
wow,
he is
Andrew.
Talia's face with that was amazing.
He's a poker player, so he can read BS. And he read all the BS. I was dripping with BS. And he's like, you know, I know you are very good at entertaining. And I know that you are an interesting person. But who's the real UA here? And if you don't want to reveal who the real UA is, if she doesn't want to show up right now, we don't have to stay for another drink. And I felt like in that moment, I felt a little called out, yes, but in the best way possible, because for so long, I thought I needed like an Academy Award for how amazing I was on dates, you know, how entertaining I was. And he's like, that's not the goal here. I'm trying to get to know you. So for the second half of the date, we totally turned things around. My energy came down to his level. Not that it was low energy, but we were able to match each other and also kind of trade the authentic parts of who we are. That also ended in a really passionate make-out sesh. So that worked out well.
We love that. That's such an interesting story. And I think I'm really glad that you were called out, but I'm wondering, like, would you have ever gotten to a place where you were aware that the real UA was not showing up?
I don't know.
See, I was also in a place to receive that.
Right.
Probably a few years before, I would have been like bye.
You.
Yeah, I don't need it. I don't need a second drink, bro. Thanks.
But that changed how you dated. As someone that watched it from the outside, it was like the wake up call. But I actually think that could alleviate people that feel like they don't know how to date. They're newer to dating. Like they just actually don't need to overthink it as much as maybe they thought they did. Like they just need to show up like their friends. Like we had this guy that's in the Dateable community that we used to do like monthly coaching with. And at one time he brought his friend to the call, just like randomly. And he was a totally different person. And we were like, that's who we want to see on dates. Like that's the person. Like you have this stiff energy on dates, but with your friend, you're relaxed, you're having fun, like you're showing different sides. And I think people get so caught up in, I need to act and be a certain way to attract someone, when actually what's attractive is who you are.
it's hard to get in that mindset when you don't feel that way about yourself. And also when it's like weird, the stakes change on a date. I don't know what it is compared to hanging out with friends. Your friends already like you. They're already your friends. You don't need to like do anything different. But then for some reason on a date, you do feel like you have to win the other person over somehow. And that's someone who maybe hasn't heard the podcast or hasn't read the book, because you don't have to actually win anyone over. But that it can feel that way sometimes.
Well, I think that's the shift. Like that's when you can get into that mode of yes, it takes a lot of inner work to, and that's why whenever people are like, well, what app should I use? What should I do to change my profile? At some point, like there's a point of diminishing returns on all this stuff. The real movers are this is the mover.
Yes, the hard stuff.
So comfortable with yourself that you're like, I don't care that I'm getting rejected. I think the earlier version of me, when I was getting rejected over and over again, and again, rejection is just how do you view it? Like it's redirection. Like most of the people that I got quote unquote rejected by were just not the right person at all. So an earlier version would have taken that personally, fell for what we call the validation trap, tied it to their self-worth. But it takes the work to be like, actually, it's coming. It's just a matter of time.
Yeah, it is. It's really tough. I want to switch gears for a second and talk about this line in your book that really resonated with me. And that is, if you're clinging to the power dynamics, you're not looking for a relationship. And I was like, whoa. Like, I think some people are going to have a hard time hearing that. If you're clinging to the power dynamics, you are not looking for a relationship. And I really want listeners to let this sink in because I think it's really true. Can you unpack this a little bit for us?
Oh, I remember talking to a friend about this and saying that to her at one point, like verbatim, because she was so caught up in all of these dynamics of like, should I wait? Should I text? Should I do all the stuff? And at the end of the day, if you're doing all of this, it's a game playing. It's not actually building a relationship with someone. Like we were talking about earlier, all the stuff that isn't relationship chicken, of getting vulnerable, of sharing, of taking that risk and being open and doing all the things that could result in rejection. That's what actually a relationship is. I mean, I think relationships are very hard in different ways that dating is. Like, from being in a serious relationship, it opens up a lot of wounds potentially, even in the healthiest of relationships. And in a different way than I think I've experienced in the past when I was playing more relationship chicken, hedging my bets, because you're being seen. And if you're not willing to be seen and you're so focused on those dynamics as a way to protect yourself, then you actually are like avoiding a relationship.
Yeah. I mean, I noticed this a lot recently. I don't know if you guys saw my post about green flags men look for. Did you see this?
Yes. I love that.
Thank you. A lot of people didn't love it.
Why?
There was this power dynamic discussion really came into play in the comments of this post. And if you're listening, I'll link it in the show notes. It basically was just listing out green flags that men in the dating intentionally community shared with me. And there were things like reciprocation of interests in various ways, asking good questions, curiosity, a lot of the basic stuff that everyone of any gender and any sexuality looks for in a relationship. But there was a lot of issues about like women coming to the comments being like, I'm not going to initiate with a guy. I would never
get those
pay.
all the time.
All the time.
All the time.
We've been taught that if you initiate, then you've lost the upper hand. That if you express your emotions, then you've lost in this game. And you always want to be the one less interested in a relationship so that you are more valuable to the other person. I mean, this is like passed down for generations through our parents, through television, through entire society. But going back to your initial visual that you painted for us, which is a canoe, Talia, or a tandem bike. If you are engaged in power dynamics on a tandem bike, you're like, I'm going to have my partner sit back so I can steer this bike where I wanted to. You're not going to get anywhere faster than if both of you.
You're going to crash.
Fall over.
Sounds dangerous.
Or you'll resent your partner for not pitching in, right?
Yeah.
And the only way the bike works most efficiently is when both of you are putting as much power and effort into it. So the power dynamic is, we think it's like, it's a me versus you mentality. But we also know this is part of the relationship chicken, is that if you're trying to get in a relationship, there is no such thing as a me versus you in a relationship. So why do we bring that dynamic into dating?
Well, I think that people do bring it into relationships, though.
Oh, definitely.
Unfortunately, there is like the next level of this, that you might experience in an early relationship where it's like, well, they haven't defined their relationship with me. They haven't introduced me to their parents or friends. They're not doing this. They're not doing that. I'm like, have you said you wanted this? Have you introduced them to your friends?
So this was my turning point because I was the person in your comments at one point. Like, I strongly believed that, like, I would I wanted to show that I wanted this person to prove that they liked me. I didn't want to waste time on people that didn't. I hear that. I see that. I also had a lot of things ingrained, like I would be like lesser value and like stupid stuff that comes from that. Like, I don't want to look desperate or needy, all of that. The wake up moment for me was, okay, if I'm in a relationship, do I want to be like afraid to send someone a text message? No, I don't want to be walking on eggshells in a relationship. And it goes back to relationship chicken. Like, if you're doing all that stuff to get into a relationship, it's hard to then you've now set up the relationship in that way. So why not just be who you are up front, attract the people that want that? You're saying that you hear from your male community that they want this. I think there's also a big difference of being the one that initiates every plan versus you give. Yeah. So I think what we've gotten before is like, well, I can't send that text because I don't want to be the one initiating. And we're like, we're not telling you to initiate every interaction. But if you give an inch, they'll go a mile. Like, it's a team effort.
So when does it turn into one-sided? Like, what's the line?
When you feel that it's one-sided, right? I guess most of us know.
We've all been in those situations where you're like, if I don't text them, they're probably never going to reach out to me again. Like, if you're the one doing everything.
I guess there's a difference between it actually being one-sided and you being afraid of it being one-sided.
Yeah, that's vulnerable too, right?
Right. I love this, the way you've talked about vulnerability and relationship chicken. I think that the two are just tied so well together. And like, I hope that listeners and people who read your book will figure out how to be vulnerable, not just in the dating phase, but also continue in the relationship phase. And I do think that if you're showing up vulnerable early on, it's easier down the line. Yes. And I did have another question about vulnerability, because I think there is this like confusion, because again, you guys do a good job of clarifying what it is and what it isn't. But like, I will hear from daters in early relationships and they're like, I don't know if they're opening up to me enough. Mm-hmm. Or like, I don't know if I really like, they're not like sharing their inner world with me. And it's usually from women talking about men about this. Mm-hmm. But I've heard it the other way around too. Yep. So what do you make of that in terms of like being vulnerable in a relationship?
Oh, it's such a great topic that we're about to enter, because we don't talk about early relationships that much, right? And it's worth discussing, because you bring in your patterns of behavior into early relationships. And that pattern is basically like, you're under the assumption that other people are like you, and other people are on the same timeline and journey as you, and other people have experienced the same things as you, which is not true. You're two mere strangers merging your life together, and we need to recognize other people for how far they've come, not for where they are right now. Mm-hmm. So what is opening up to someone else may be closed off to you. Just like what may be amazing to someone could be disgusting to you. And we need to understand in early relationships, I call it the Roomba phase, because all we're doing is like getting to the parameter of our relationship and understanding where the boundaries are, and then creating a blueprint. So I
love that analogy. It's so true. It's so real.
It's information that you don't need to act on, but you're creating a blueprint. You're feeling like, okay, still feel validated in the fact that you feel like your partner isn't opening up as much, but your partner also needs to understand what is opening up. Yeah. And they also can tell you how far they've tried and come to open up. What were they like a year from today? Maybe they've come a really long way. So it's just recognizing that other people are not like you.
Yeah.
And we don't need to expect other people to be like us.
Like when I first started dating my husband, I figured out very quickly that he just doesn't remember his childhood very much. Like he just doesn't have memories. So like I would try to just ask him like, what were your holidays like? Like, what'd you do? Like after school, like all these like just not even like deep questions, just like context for his life. And he just would not remember. He just doesn't remember anything. And I'm like, at first it frustrated me. It's like, oh, he's not opening up. And it's like, no, that's the Roomba scenario.
Yeah.
That's just as far as he can go. And that's it.
A bad memory.
Yeah, that's all right. All right, fine. That's it.
It's interesting too, because what you just said about like someone's childhood and asking those questions, to me, that's what opening up feels like, of like getting to know the person. But like with my partner, he felt like, because we weren't having these like more philosophical questions, that we weren't opening up, and that some of that connection was missing. So my take to him was like, one, thank you for sharing. I think first you were asking like what people can do is you need to share, but then also like, can you initiate that too? Like you can't just say like, I want to deepen the connection with someone, or I want to get more vulnerable. Like how do you start doing that? And then seeing if they can like come to that level as well, and inviting them into that space. Like
the canoe thing, it's a team effort, right?
Yeah.
It's like being receptive to what they can do, making sure you're opening up these conversations and also participating in them. It's like all at once.
Right.
So, Julie, speaking of your partner,
good transition.
Are you still calling them your partner?
You know,
did anything happen recently?
So it's actually like, this is going out a little later because with podcasting, you always record. Like,
yeah, we're recording
a little buffer time.
We're recording this the day Julie shared on Instagram that she got engaged.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it was funny because Talia like messaged. She's like, "Can we talk about this?" I'm like, "Sure." So yeah, we got engaged. Yeah, I guess like I haven't used fiance yet, which is interesting. But I feel like partner.
You can try it now. Just try it right now.
Fiance. Yeah.
Yeah.
I do like partner though still, because I feel like I never really called him my boyfriend either. I always kind of went to partner, because honestly, from an early stage, like we did feel like partners, and that's kind of how I knew it was different. Also, it didn't feel like I never used partner with other people, like even in the past. So there was always something a little different, that it felt like we were more entwined in our life. Like, I don't know, maybe I'll start using fiance, but I feel like partner like encompasses it well.
I love that. So how did you meet your partner?
So we met on Hinge in 2021, so in COVID times. And like I was saying with this, I think where I was, my mindset with dating was so different than it was years ago. And honestly, a lot of those learnings are from the podcast. It's in How to Be Dateable, and it's stuff that like you and I, if we were to look at how we dated in that time period versus when we started this podcast, it was so different. It was these questions that you're probably getting. We were asking the same stuff. And I think from our experiences and following like the people that got out, like that was the shift. And I don't think I would have been with my partner had I not made this, because I think I prioritized different things when I met him. Like for me, like consistency was number one, because I got clear on that North Star. And that's not to say like I just wanted a consistent partner and like anyone would do. Like I'm not saying like settle or anything. One of like
few things.
Yeah. It's more like if they can't even pass that baseline, like I don't care what their credentials are. I don't care what the chemistry is. Like if they can't even show up consistently and prioritize me, like what's the point?
Yeah, I'm with you. So how did he propose, or how did you guys do it?
Yeah. So, I mean, I would also say it was a collaborative process. Yes. I think it's an interesting shift. And, you know, like back in the day, it was like women were surprised, or like whoever was doing the proposal. And I feel like nowadays, like when we were looking at rings, like it was all couples in there together. There were very few. I don't know what you guys did, Talia.
Yeah, we looked together. Yeah.
So I feel like it was like I literally saw 0 people in there by themselves. And I'm sure like it can happen that way. I'm not saying it shouldn't happen that way either. But yeah, I personally liked the collaborative approach. It made it special. It made it feel like we were doing it together. I think even just seeing him in the store, like reacting was like really nice to like see the excitement happening. So I would say it was we also talked about marriage for a while. So none of this was a surprise.
I don't think it should be a surprise.
No,
like,
it should
at all.
not.
None of it should be a surprise.
Oh,
I guess like maybe just
don't.
the day and the time and like the
yes.
place
Yeah.
that
I
it happens,
think
maybe.
that was the right level of surprise for me. I also realized that I'm not someone that loves ambiguity, which is why I was anxious when I was dating. So I think for me, I was
so hard.
It was funny. Well, it's not funny, but he was like he had a surgery that was happening before Christmas. So it was pretty like low key holiday. So I was like, okay, is it happening before the surgery or after?
Just to be clear.
And I think I actually saw myself getting a little anxious, and not because like I doubted that it would happen or anything, but I think it was like there were high stakes again. And like, I was like,
dude,
yeah.
no, once the ring has been purchased or once you go ring shopping, the anxiety is so high.
Why?
You know what's happening. I don't know.
Really?
I also was,
Okay, that
I couldn't
makes me,
sleep.
that makes me feel
Why?
so much better.
Because you just don't know when it's happening. Is that why?
I think it's that, but I think for me, it was like, it feels so close and it feels like it's happening, and I don't want to be like blindsided in any way. And there was no reason that again, there was like nothing that my partner was doing that would indicate that, but it was like my own shit coming up.
It is just such a weird thing. I didn't expect that to hit me like that either, but it totally did. So how did it happen? What was his plan?
Yeah. Okay. So once I found out that there was a window, I was like, okay. So then the day it happened on a Sunday, and that morning I was like, okay, I think this is happening today, because we were going on a hike that we had talked about, but he was like, oh, I need to go to Whole Foods first in the morning and like get some stuff. And I was just
like, baby, you never go to Whole Foods. What's going
on?
on?
I was like, we always go together. And I was like, do you want me to come with you? And he's like, no, it's okay. And I'm like, okay, I'm not going to ask too much, but whatever. And then like, he's like, oh, we'll do an 8:00 dinner. And it was like a Sunday night. So I'm like, we don't normally go out for dinner on Sunday night. So I was like, okay, like if it's, something's either happening like on the hike or later. And then I saw him packing up like a ton of blankets and like more than the average hike. So I'm like, okay, I think something's happening. And then on the way, he's like, okay, we do need to stop somewhere. And like a little bit of the surprise is going to be ruined because I might need you to like run in. So I like don't have to look for parking. So we pulled up to this restaurant.
Collaborative.
Yeah, collaborative. We're on the canoe. And it actually was funny because this restaurant is where we had like on an early date, we had a picnic in COVID times. And one of the things that stood out for him too is I went on a lot of picnic dates, and everyone showed up with like nothing. They just showed up and they're like, I'm here. And I'm like, thanks for zero planning. But for
not
him,
a picnic. It's for hanging out in public.
Yeah. He took my sandwich order. He showed up with like a whole basket of things and blankets and drinks and all the stuff. And I was like, okay, this is someone that put in effort and was like intentional about this date. So anyways, he found our sandwich order from the third date we had, and he had ordered sandwiches from the same place that was actually at a new location. So it did throw me off a little. I wasn't expecting to like pull up, and I was like, oh, this place is here. So got the sandwiches, we went on the hike, and then we got to this beach. And I was like, okay, I think it's happening here. And then it had been raining really hard. So there's like usually like a couple pebbles that you cross over, but it was like like a lot of water.
Oh, no.
And this like dad was like put down like a log for his like daughter to go over. And my partner's like, do you think you are okay doing that? Like, I don't want to make you do it. And I'm like, I'll do it. So we went over, and it was
like,
actually
for the rain, I'll do anything.
I know, and he actually said that he's like, I don't want you to feel like you have to do it to like, you know, like to make my plan work kind of thing. But so we went over. It was fine. And then it was like this pretty like there was no one really there because the weather was like kind of not so great. But then it like miraculously cleared up. And yeah, he proposed, and we had our picnic, and just it was real. It was perfect.
That is so sweet. Oh my gosh, we love like a nature Bay Area.
Oh my
proposal.
god,
Oh,
yes,
very much so.
yes, fellow Bay Area, yes, you got it.
That's so beautiful. I'm so happy for you. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. It was a great day. And, I think it's like one of those things that I don't like saying like getting engaged or marriage is the end goal, because I really don't believe it is. But I do think it for me, it was important. Like, I did want that next stage in a relationship. And I think just like being able to like ask for that and tell someone I wanted that was vulnerable, and that was putting it out there. So it's like another example why I think it's important to get vulnerable in dating is because it doesn't actually end. Only the stakes kind of go up and things get more. So might as well practice now, when who cares if you see the person again?
Yes. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much for leaving us with that little nugget of advice and sharing your story. And congratulations on your book again. I mean, I really want people to buy it. It's really solid book, super easy to read, and I highly recommend it. I just hope everyone gets this. So
listen to, because it's audio.
Or listen to, right?
Too.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Audiobook as well.
So where can listeners connect with you guys?
Yeah, I mean, howtobedateable.com. All the book info is there. You can actually take the quiz that's in the book as well there. And dateablepodcast.com, or wherever podcasts are. We're everywhere at Dateable Podcast on the internet as well.
Amazing. Thank you guys so much.
Thanks, Talia.
Thanks, Talia.
If you're a podcast host, listen up, this one's for you. My name is Allie Jackson. I'm the host of Finding Mr. Height, a dating and relationship podcast that I've been doing for 4 years now, sharing my positive and practical approach to dating that's built on my own life experience. And I wanted to share another experience that I've had, my secret behind monetizing my show. It's called Red Circle, and I was just telling my colleague about how much I love their platform. With Red Circle, not only am I getting a seamless hosting experience, but I also love the support I receive in ad sales. It's not just typical ad sales either. It's targeted opportunities based on my show and my life. And the platform is super simple. You just set your preferences, and Red Circle matches you with sponsors that align with your show. You can vet every opportunity, and their platform gives you great analytics. More recently, too, my Red Circle team has brought me opportunities outside of my podcast on social media to really augment the podcast partnerships, bring them full circle. I just can't recommend them enough. If you want to give it a try, go to redcircle.com to get your free trial. That's redcircle.com for a free trial.